Hey there, I'm Luka Jovanovic, a first year medical student, and this is probably my 100th time of recording this intro. But welcome to the second episode of Lean and Aggressive. I know, the name is a bit out there. Thankfully, it's subject to change, but for now, we'll roll with it. I have a script here to just sum up what is this show, this podcast, this episode 2 that I'm talking about. This is where you and I sit down and we talk about increasing output, achieving wellness goals, and improving focus in our workflows, all through optimizing the habits of routine, nutrition, and health. Basically, what that means is hopefully through my effort, through my trial and error, and hopefully through med school, I can learn practical ways to improve our lives and our health and actually apply all this medical blah, blah, blah jargon into things that work, simple things. And why me? It's because my main focus, my main motto, my maxim is refine, refine, refine. Every week, week in, week out, I'm optimizing, I'm recording, I'm tracking, I'm taking little nuanced things into account, and I'm focusing on just getting better. As long as the line, the gradient is positive and it's generally going up, I'm pleased, and that's what we want here. Through my efforts, through my trial and error, through my mistakes, what's working, what's not, what's on my mind, what I'm doing research on, and what I think you should do your own research on as well. That's hopefully how we learn. So, I have my laptop here and some notes I made from this past week. The way things start is I always talk about what didn't work, what I've been struggling with, what hasn't been working in terms of health. This isn't just me venting, but you'll see what I mean here. Last week I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned that. Last week I mentioned how my stools were I was basically constipated. My stools were quite hard, they were dull, they were dinosaur poos, no wipe, no smudge, no nothing. Very convenient, but we end up paying for that convenience, right? We go to the grocery store, we grab a packet of samosas. It's very convenient. You just eat it up. But there's oil, there's calories, there's fat, there's poor quality meat, poor quality dough, there's refined flour, there's so much. No, not refined, reinforced flour. There's you pay for that convenience, not in terms of money, but in terms of your health later down the line. So that dinosaur poo is convenient because you don't have to wipe, but you're actually paying for that because there's all this stuff that needs cleaning in your body. Basically, sticky poo poo equals bile, toxins in the bile. We're getting rid of all the bad stuff, right? So when we have a sticky, inconvenient wipey, excuse my crude caveman terms, when we have that sticky texture, that means that the fiber in the GIT is absorbing toxins, absorbing bile, and it's all leaving. And then typically we want sticky poo as opposed to dry, and we want darker instead of lighter, pale, light yellow, brown. Darker just means it's binding to more bad stuff. That's the theory from what I understand. So I was battling with the dinosaur's poo syndrome. I made that up. So what I started doing was I started eating 4 or 5 apples each day. Some day 6, some day 7, about 4 or 5. And so, yeah, one of these nights I ended up, I kind of went off script here, but I ate 4 or 5 apples and that started improving the dinosaur poo syndrome. But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't like all my problems were just solved. I think there's still flora, or what's the word, bifidobacteria in my gut that needs healing. It needs to improve. It needs to grow, to reproduce, to get better at, I guess, creating stools and whatever. For now, he's a bit, tamed. So I can't expect immediately, first day of implementing a bunch of fiber, that I'm going to start pooing amazingly. But my stools have been better. They have been stickier. They're still fairly light, but it's an improvement. This backfires though, because one of these nights I ate 4 or 5 apples right before bed. I was journaling. That's typically 10 minutes, 30 minutes before bed. And I ate a bunch of apples. And I thought, hey, I'm not weak. I'm a man, Men used to go to war. Now I'm, taking into account, oh, what time am I eating my food? So I ate a bunch of these apples, didn't care, lying in bed, eating apples like like an aristocratic Roman or whatever. And then I ate four of them. I lay down to sleep and I couldn't fall asleep because my body starts digesting it. Terrible play. I couldn't fall asleep. My sleep tanked. I had to digest it. I went on my phone. Then I doomed a bit. It was just a total waste. I lost sleep. The next day wasn't good. Woke up later. It's a poor decision. So I'm just going back to reinforce. It's simple. Simply like, here's me and here's the goal, and we're moving in a straight line. But the line's not linear. Obviously, we move and then we deviate and then we get astray. But we always have to realize that we moved astray and just come back. So now I'm just moving back, realigning back on track. Right. I have to reinforce that rule. I ideally eat my dinner by 5 o'clock, 5 to 6. I sleep at 9:30. 3 hours, 4 hours before bed. That's sweet for me. I sleep well. I don't wake up to go to the toilet to do a number one. That's optimal for me. So I'm just gonna go back to reinforcing that. I haven't been enjoying jump rope as much. We always hear everyone saying you need 10K steps, 10K steps, you need to do this, you need to do sprints, you need to do all this cardio. So that's amazing. I agree. But my form of cardio is jump rope. And I started doing 4,000 skips every day, which is about 10,000 steps. And it's been difficult. The first week was great, but this is the second week. It's kind of hard because, hey, your knees start hurting a bit, you start getting tired, your calves start hurting, this and that. It's now inconvenient. It's the jump rope broke as well, so that sucks. Now you have to use someone else. That's just a problem I've been facing. Let me see if I have any other notes here. Tired, walking definitely. Yeah, walking's definitely way more relaxing, right? It's so nice to go walk out in nature, feel the breeze, the rays of the sun hitting your face, the walking past some cute kids on bicycles, ding, 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 out the road. That's cute, right? That's nice. That's enjoyable. But that takes 2 hours in your day. Who has 2 hours to walk and then an hour in the gym? Who's got 3 hours for that? So I cut that in half. My whole exercise in the day is about an hour and a half. About 30 minutes of jump rope, about an hour in the gym, maybe 45 minutes gym, 50, maybe 30, 35 minutes jump. It averages out to about an hour and a half every day, which is half. That's why I do it. It's time conserving. Right? I'm saving so much time with the jump rope. It doesn't feel like I'm going out of my way to go and walk, to go and do this and that. It takes 5 minutes to just go and jump 500 times. Less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever. So that just feels a lot better. It's a lot more time saving, but those effects have been piling up now. And I missed a day or two. I think I did 2 days this past week where I was on 3,000 or 3,500. Today right now it's a Sunday, 6 o'clock. I'm on 2,500. So I'll get the 1.5, don't worry. After I record this and we're done with our convo here, I'll hit 500, then I'll go bake some sourdough, meal prep for the week a bit in the Instant Pot, do 1,000, easy as you like. So some days are hard, some days are easy, but it's just as part of the process. And then I believe I've been working out far too close to my bedtime. So I sleep 9:30. My gym sessions have been slowly pushed a bit later. So I usually work out 7 to 7:30, 7:45, or quarter to 7 to 7:30, right? That's fairly close to bedtime. If I finish my work, in this past week, I've been working a bit later, so I've been finishing my workout a bit later. So if I finish my workout at 8, 10 to 8, I'm supposed to be in bed and sleeping at 9. 1 hour is not a reasonable amount of time to enter exercise, move, struggle, fight for your life, and then rest, sleep, recover, relax. It's too strong of a contrast to enter that quickly. So what I've started doing now is I did a bit of research. Apparently you're supposed to be working out 4 hours max before bed, or at least 4 hours before bed, because that doesn't raise your blood pressure or your heart rate. The heart rate is what I was referring to. So you can just enter this state of rest a lot easier, a lot gentler. It's more natural. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to try work out at 4 to 5, and then 5 to 6 I'll eat, and then 6 till 7:30 I'll work, and then 7:30 to 8 shower, 8 to 9 journal, plan, read the Bible, pray, and sleep at 9:30ish. That's the game plan. So basically I was working out quite close to bedtime, and I do feel that, hey, that might have been interfering with my sleep. So now we're going to be moving that earlier. It's like, here's me, here's the goal, moving, but we slightly mess up, but it's all just about being conscious, being aware, and then just trying to redirect our path to the right one. All right. Okay, what's next? Still, poos aren't that good. Only getting one a day and not that dark. That's what I mentioned earlier. So yeah, it's going to take time for the gut, for the bacteria, for the flora in my gut to adapt to all this apple pectin. Okay. There's a lot of soluble fiber in apples. That's why I'm eating so many apples. If you can buy apple pectin supplements, that's amazing. Go for it. If you can buy purified citrus fruit pectin, that's amazing. Go for it. But I can't read in Cape Town that you don't have that. It's just not on the market. So the next best thing is just eat a bunch of apples. I've tried psyllium husk, but I think that might be quite high in nickel, potentially. All the Google's search results say no, but there's a few studies that indicate that, hey, it does have heavy metal nickel in it. And I'll go later into why I'm avoiding nickel, why I'm avoiding certain heavy metals or bivalent metals. Then, my eyeshadows, they still kind of suck, but I don't know what that is. I mentioned that it could be cranial collapse. It could be the compound effect of poor sleep. It could be the grind. It could, I don't know. It could just be me. It could just be what I look like. But I refuse. I refuse. My skin's always been pretty bad, but through nutrition, through the right efforts and habits and input, I've been improving my skin. And that's another point which I'll mention. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. And so I refuse to believe that this is also just one of those things. Sorry, bro. I refuse. We're getting there. Okay. There's still things I don't know. We're getting there. And then I was always one to skip breakfast, to fast in the mornings, intermittent fasting. What's the point of eating food if you wake up from sleep and you just recharge and you woke up? Why would you go and need more energy from food now, right? We're a hunter-gatherer. We need to go out and hunt. Yeah, saber-tooth. Wow. I feel good when I eat breakfast. Hear me out. I'd wake up at about 5:30 and then work until 12. 12 to 1 is when I would eat, have my lunch break and nap. I kind of messed up, changed things around a bit. I had some breakfast this week, believe it or not. Not a big one, just a small one. So what I did was, the day where I felt best was I woke up and I took a chicken breast with me, 100 gram, I don't know, an average sized chicken breast with some protein. And then I had a banana with me, chicken breast and a banana. And I had water bottle with a sprinkle of potassium chloride in it for potassium electrolytes and a sprinkle of salt, sodium electrolytes. And that was that. That was my breakfast. So I took that with me. Then I studied. So 5:30 woke up, 6:30 went to go study. I have my hour morning routine where I get ready, I leave, etc., walk, meditate, whatever. 6:30 I start. And then I get hungry at about 8, 9. I eat that food. And then I just work again. And not only did that help with my study session, because I wasn't so hungry, I could actually focus on the work. But then my energy in the later part of the day felt way more stable, consistent, manageable. It was very good. Typically, what would happen is I'd be so hungry in that morning from 5:30 to 12, so hungry. Then I'd go, and that would start interfering with my work, especially from 9:30, 10 to 12, those last 2.5, 3 hours, that would really suck because I'd be thinking about food. And then at 12, I would go and eat this massive lunch. I would eat all my food, breakfast and lunch combined, essentially. So I'd eat all this food. I would spike my glucose. And then later, it would crash. And then I'd feel sluggish and tired and hazy in the afternoon. And my energy just sucked. It was all over the show. It would be low, 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 boom, spike, crash. And then I'd have to eat dinner by 4 or 5. But I wouldn't be crazy hungry. I'd still eat it because I like food. But I wouldn't be crazy hungry, right? But I need to eat within that window, otherwise it interferes with my sleep and blah, blah, blah. So this is just a lot more balanced, a lot more stable. This way I don't feel crazy hungry. I still feel hungry enough for lunch. And then I can eat a normal, considerate, moderate lunch where my energy doesn't crash. And then dinner, I eat a normal, slightly smaller dinner. You know what I'm saying? So we're taking a bit away from lunch, a bit away from dinner, and putting it in breakfast, essentially. So it just helped me with my energy. I felt a lot better, a lot more stable, less crash, better focus. So consider it. I don't know if we should be fasting. I don't know if we need to have a big, massive breakfast. I typically just like that little bit, a little bit of protein and a little bit of fruit. Sure, grains and bread and the flour and the wheat is okay, but for me and my focus for now, the meat and the fruit, the banana specifically, that worked pretty well. So I'll just keep doing that slightly small breakfast just to know, okay, there's food, there's energy, there's nutrition, good, keep it moving. Okay, that's what I'll be doing moving forward. So try it out. Then I've been in a pretty irritable mood recently because I've been leaving this monk mode season phase since I've come to university in February. I've been incredibly dialed, working every day, super like just in the library. If you go back to previous videos on this channel, I was making 5 videos a week on public speaking videos. My idea was I want to help medical professionals become better speakers so they can speak at conferences and stuff. But now this is more in line with me, essentially. So that's why I'm switching. But I was making so many videos each week. I was going to start this public speaking club here on campus. I was going to do all these things, and I was working so hard, and then it's not like I burnt out, but I've just switched routes. I want something else. I want different work. I want this to be my heart, you know? And I was just so monk mode dialed in every day, meal prep, no break, no people eating room in the communal sharing space, like flatmates. Now you guys are normies. I'd rather eat in my room and be alone and secluded. And that sucks. So now I'm just letting people in again. You know, I want people back. I want to people max a bit. I don't want negative bums who just influence me and they're not working, so now they're gonna, you know, just by them being in my vicinity, in my proximity, you know, now I'm not gonna work as well because they're lazy, whatever. I don't want that, but I don't want to be so. I was almost becoming a bit autistic, you know. I was like, I'd just be alone all day working, and then it'd be a social interaction, but it wouldn't be so fresh. It wouldn't be so good. It wouldn't be because I was kind of getting out of it. I wasn't warm. I wasn't talking to people all the time. I wasn't warmed up, you know? So I don't want that. I want to be charming. I want to be funny. I want to be that guy. I want to be smiling, you know? That's also part of health. That's what I'll be focusing on again and giving a bit more attention to. All right. So consider that if you want. If not, anyway. The routine's been off. The routine has been off this past week. I was talking about waking up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time every day. Yes, I agree, but I messed it up. I've been waking up later, 6:30, 7:30. Going to bed, I doomed a bit. I went on my phone, and I went to bed at about 11, 2 nights. Not in a row, but I think probably Thursday night and Saturday night. It was hard. I'm going home. I don't know why I'm doing that. Maybe I'm missing home. Maybe I'm homesick. Maybe it's because there's a test coming up and I was just in the library the whole day grinding again. Dopamine loading, I don't know. Okay, dopamine loading is when you save all the dopamine for the end of the day. So you kind of just dismiss it. Okay, I'll do it later. Oh, what is my Instagram? I'll do it later. I'll check it later. So then I checked everything at the end of the day. It all piled up, and I started falling into this little hole of dopamine. So maybe it was that. I don't know, but that's what happened. And then I had this thought, which is, even when I woke up the following day, I woke up a bit later. I went to bed slightly later. I felt a bit bad because I was on my phone. The routine isn't your master, right? You still, even if you mess up the routine, even if you fall off path and you mess things up, you wake up later and you eat the apples at night right before bed, and then you can't sleep and you're angry. The routine is not your master. The routine is just there as a guide. You have these daily objectives you have to achieve in your day, right? 10K steps, eat this amount of calories, or get this much protein, get a workout in, or study this much, or go to work and have this output and do this and this and that. The routine is just there to elevate you, to help you achieve those things, right? If I can study, if I can have the same 2 hour time slot every day where I can just do work, I'll be a lot more likely to get these school goals done, to get these YouTube goals done, these Twitter goals done, That's what the routine is for. But if you miss that thing, you can still get those goals done. It's just the routine is there to try and help you achieve it. It's not your master. So if you mess up, you still need to be low cortisol. You still need to be chillax about it. I woke up late. I was hungry, so I took some toast. I don't usually eat within the first hour of waking up, but I took toast and I ate it, and then I went to the library and I studied. It's not that deep. I still went and did my daily goal, not in line with the routine, not in the right order, not in the pattern, but that doesn't matter because I was still getting work done. I still got all my steps in that day. I still hit the gym. I still ate within calories. Still got the protein. You need to hit the daily objectives, and the routine is just there as a supplement to help you achieve it. But it is not the meal. You know what I'm saying? So we still need to be. We don't want the routine. We don't want to be so dependent on the routine that it creates fragility or dependability. It should be a guide that helps us. I should ideally be going to bed at this time, ideally waking up at this time, because that helps me achieve X, Y, and Z. But it's not, if I don't do this and that, I can't achieve X, Y, and Z. That's not the case. So just don't be fragile with it. The same way goes with nutrition, right? I shouldn't be eating these foods because they cause skin irritation. They give me bad skin. Or these ones make me fat. These ones are high in calories. These ones, I need to eat that to build muscle, right? But if you go to a restaurant and now you look at the menu, it's like I can't eat anything because my skin's going to flare up. This is going to cause a reaction. That's going to do this and that. I'm going to be lethargic, blah, blah, blah. It's not optimal. Dessert, sugar, I don't know, whatever. That's now fragility. So as long as you're not going to the restaurant every weekend and you're not eating this oil and that butter and that whatever every day or every week, it's like every 3 or 4 weeks maybe, that's fine. But if you're now stressing over it, tracking over, going to the bathroom, puking in the toilet over it, that's fragility. And we don't want that. We want stability. We want to be strong. We want the routine to make us stronger. We want the diet to elevate us, to make us more optimal and focused. But it's okay every now and then to deviate, as long as we're still conscious that we've taken a step off the path. We can always go back. Does that make sense? So another mistake I made this week was chicken calorie counting. I was tracking my fitness pal. I was tracking my chicken breasts as cooked, but they were raw. So I would say 100 grams chicken breast, and I thought I was getting 30 grams of protein. But all my chicken, I was tracking raw. I had 100 grams of raw chicken breast, which is only 20 grams of protein. So I was getting way less protein and consuming a bit less calories, but hitting way less protein, which is fine though, because I was still getting much protein in. But yeah, that's 10 grams less of protein. So now I've, again, taken a step off, redirecting towards the goal. So now I've covered most of the things which suck. What did work? Oh, I kind of just messed up control. Okay, so what's been working this week? Okay, so basically the convenience thing. You pay for convenience. Sure, I don't want to meal prep now, Sunday night, right before my test. I'd rather just eat a Big Mac tomorrow, It's not convenient tracking calories. It's not convenient wiping your bum after a poo. It's not convenient jumping rope 5 minute intervals here and there randomly. That kind of sucks. But you that's the price you have to pay. Inconvenience is essentially the cost, right? So with these poos, you want inconvenient poos. You want them to be sticky. You want them to be a mess afterwards. You want it to be smelly and ugly because that means that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're getting rid of all the toxins. The body detoxes through urine, through sweat, and through poo poo, stools, sweat, exercise, and I guess sunlight because the sun's UV rays, all the toxins get oxidized on the surface of the skin. So that as well. But you need to be pooing is the main one essentially. Okay, fiber binds to bile, toxins in the bile. You get rid of it. Booyakasha. That's how it works. That's how we get rid of toxins. The stickier it is, that means the more bile there is in your stool. The stickier it is, also the more inconvenient it is, but the better it is for you because you're getting rid of toxins. I have another funny thing on toxins at the end, one of my thoughts. It's all about losing fat. If we have fat soluble toxins bind to our adipose tissue, our fat cells, how are we supposed to lose the fat if we're not getting rid of the toxins? Or do you get rid of the fat to get rid of the toxins? I think it's the toxins to get rid of the fat, but whatever, we'll get to that. So then I've been eating a lot of sourdough and it's been amazing. So I've sourdough and pasta is what mainly my carb sources. And I haven't been feeling the best on pasta, so I've just been eating way more sourdough. I made 2 kilograms worth of sourdough the past weekend, and then this past week I just ate it, meal prepped it, froze it, cut it up, and then when I needed it, I would just toast it, and it would be amazing. And I had this one amazing story where I woke up late one of these days in this past week, and I went to go study because I have this test coming up tomorrow. And so I'd be in the library, study, 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 study. What drives me out of the library is my hunger. I get hungry. So then I run down, I run not downstairs, but I cross the street. So I go down all the 5 stairs in the library, 3 floors down, on ground floor. I cross the street, get to my dorm, go to my room, take a bunch of sourdough, toast it, toast it, toast it, eat it up, food, sourdough, amazing, delicious, run back across the street, go up the 5 stairs, study, get hungry again in 2-3 hours, go down the stairs again, cross the street, back to my dorm room, toast, sourdough, amazing. And I just did that the entire day and I studied the whole day until the sun set. It was amazing and I loved it. Sourdough toast, my library, study. It's that was heaven. That was heaven. So I've been feeling pretty good on sourdough as opposed to pasta. Although I don't know if that is also just because of the breakfast thing, but sourdough is pretty good. I like it. I don't know why it is. Is it because it's fermented? Is it because it's slightly cleaner, more refined flour, not durum wheat? Is it whatever? I don't know, but that's what I observed. Input, black box, output. I changed this one input. I stopped eating the pasta and ate more sourdough and I felt better. So that's what I observed. Meal prep on weekends is also so overpowered because throughout the week, I don't have to cook. I don't have to wash all these dishes. I have a bunch of food and a bunch of lunch boxes. And then when I get hungry, I can just take it out, eat it. It's dirty. I just put it back in my mini fridge. Amazing. And then I just clean it on the weekend. And the only reason that sourdough thing worked, my dorm made sourdough, is because I meal prepped it on the weekend. And then I had a bunch which I can just run back, toast, and eat it up. That's a dream. So time saver, energy saver. It's really just about time. I can just go down, have food, heat it up a bit, and eat it. Speaking of heating up food, I think we should, as humans, be eating warm food. Not incredibly hot, but warm, not cold. Because in Chinese medicine, they always talk about warmth, warmth, warmth. And if we think about it, our human body is warm. Room temperature is relatively warm. If we now go and eat cold meat out of the fridge, I don't know exactly how good that is because now our body has to go and heat it up and warm it up. And in terms of digestion, I don't think that's optimal. I think it's better if we have warm food, which is more or less closer to our internal body temperature. I think that's better for digestion. But well, as I learn more, I can hopefully back that up. But that's just what's been on my mind, just a thought. Then I added breakfast again, just a small amount of food, a little bread, a little meat, a little fruit. That's amazing. It works well. My hunger wasn't so crazy. My energy was a bit more stable. I like that. I also been salting my food quite a lot. I have apples. I've been slicing them up in these little nice apple slices, and I'll put a little bit of salt on them, and that's amazing. I really love that. That it's delicious. It's almost like a little sour because it's salty and then sweet and then sour. It's like candy. I don't know what it is, but I love that. I've been putting so much salt on my food recently. I don't know what that is, but that makes me think that we don't need all this hydration, water, 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 but rather we need a bit more. We have like the electrical resting potential energy or resting, yeah, potential voltage of our cell membranes. That's what electrolytes are for. They balance that. The electrolytes in our body, that's the issue. When you're feeling tired and blah 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 and lethargic and energy crashes, I don't think that's immediately dehydration. I think it could be an electrolyte issue. So that's why I've been salting my food so much. Not intentionally. I just feel like my body's been craving this salt, so I've been giving it what it's kind of needs. And I've been feeling better. And then along with the potassium, I still eat a bunch of bananas every day, 2 or 3. But then I've been sprinkling, not overdoing it, starting just focusing on baby steps, building up with the potassium chloride, adding a bit more, sprinkling a little bit of potassium chloride into my water, sprinkling a bit of my food every now and then. And I think I'm getting some decent potassium from my chicken breast, from my bananas, and just from sprinkling. I think I can get about 3 grams a day, which is decent. The ideal is, I think, 3 to 4.5 max. 3.5 to 4 is pretty optimal, I believe. 3 to 4 is good. So I think I'm getting about 3. Then a few pinches of sodium chloride each day felt pretty stable, but I want to give that credit to the breakfast. I agree. Breakfast was fire. I'll definitely be doing that this coming week as well. And we'll see how we feel. And then salad. Oh my gosh, I love salad. For me to say that isn't absurd. And I think everyone should be eating salad. But not salad with kale, not with spinach, not with all these dark leafy greens with heavy metals in them. But I'm talking iceberg lettuce and cucumber, peeled cucumber. It's just this light green, pale concoction of vegetables. And the reason I think that's so amazing is because it practically has no nutritional value. And that's the point. That sounds silly. That sounds, what? I want new nutrients. I want this stuff. But I feel like there's way more bad things we should be avoiding than all this good stuff we should be trying to optimize, take in, and to get to maximize. The bad guys, the bad guys are way more prevalent than the good guys. All right. So there's practically nothing bad in iceberg lettuce and cucumber, peeled cucumber. And then you eat that. It has uh, insoluble fiber, which does aid in digestion and bowel movements, which is decent. And then it has basically no plant toxins or heavy metals, so your skin stays clear. And it's quite voluminous. So you eat a bunch of cucumber and lettuce with your meal, and it fills up your belly. So you don't go and eat a bunch of junk. You don't feel so hungry. You feel more satiated and full. So you feel better. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to cut, if you're just trying to feel good, feel light, that's the play. For me, for example, when I eat a big bowl of lettuce and I throw a cucumber on it and I put some salt and a bit of MSG and some potassium chloride, then I put a chicken breast on it, eat it up, I feel good. I get the protein I need, I get the electrolytes I need, and then I get filled up with all the greens. Not the Grinch, the greens. And I feel pretty good from that. I feel light. I feel like a Mediterranean on the beach. It's good. So try it out. You get leaner, clear skin. I don't think it makes your clear skin, but it definitely doesn't give you bad skin. That's for sure. And it just fills you up and you feel decent, and there's not much good to it, but not much bad to it either. So consider it, definitely. And then eating MSG for the cut. I don't know if MSG is bad for you. I think if I had to pick now, I definitely say that monosodium glutamate is good for you. If I had to give an opinion, good or bad now, I'd say it's good. Do your own research, of course. This is just my opinion. This is just what I believe to be true based on my research. But the reason that is because glutamate is the most abundant neurotransmitter in the brain. Your body doesn't know the difference between organic and inorganic or supplemental glutamate. Yeah, Asian cultures literally eat this stuff. This isn't some lab grown thing. It comes from corn, it comes from potato, it comes from sugar cane, depending how you get your monosodium glutamate. It's literally just sodium, and it is literally just glutamate. Those two compounds on their own are not anything crazy. Put them together, they're nothing crazy as well. I don't see what's so bad about it, unless it is addictive or something, as these big companies and articles suggest. But that's for you to make up your own mind. But what I've been doing is, on the cut, I'm trying to get a bit leaner. It's so amazing. I had this, obviously my homemade sourdough bread, very soft, yummy. Chicken. I cut up chicken into these little bite-sized popcorn bite pieces, and I put a bunch of MSG on it. And I took the bread, I put the chicken on top, and then I put lettuce on top of that, just iceberg lettuce, nothing crazy. Boom, closed it off. Ate it. It literally tasted like KFC. The bread felt like a nice doughy bread burger bun. The lettuce, it's like that KFC, like some KFC sandwich. It was so good, and the MSG just tastes like fried chicken. That's good food, baby. That's good food. Try that out if you want. Then venison meat. Venison is just game, lean wild animals. Here in South Africa, in Cape Town, that would be a springbok or these other buck. These deer variations, and that's very good. It's very lean. It tastes a bit wild, but I like it. It's very lean meat. It's very healthy. These animals are in the wild, and people go and hunt them. Essentially, they just eat grass and stuff. They're not injected with these weird growth hormones. They don't eat weird pellets or weird chemicals or slop. They just eat grass and run around all day and skip on their tippy toes. So it's pretty good lean meat. And I tried that out this week instead of beef, ground beef, and I felt pretty good. It tastes a bit wild, but I liked it. So I'll definitely be giving that a go. I know Americans, you have bison. Definitely eat bison. I'm pretty sure it's quite high in zinc. It's also very healthy. They just eat grass all day. They don't eat this other slop food as well. So very lean, very muscular, very wild animals. And I think that meat is beneficial for us. So give that a go. Then in the gym, I've had an upper lower split, which I've been trying out. This is the second week. I like it. I worked out 6 times this week. Sunday's my rest day. Basically, I hit legs on Monday, and then upper Tuesday, legs Wednesday, upper Thursday, legs Friday, upper Saturday. And I only do 2 sets of each movement. So I go to the gym, bench press, boom, 1 set, boom, 2 set, you're out. Max intensity though, 6 to 10 reps. 6 to 8 reps, 6 to 10, whatever, the same thing. So I really just go there with max intensity and I push it. And then apparently that's all you really need. I don't know. I feel pretty good. I get enough. I think I'm getting enough sets in throughout the week. My muscles don't feel as sore anymore. I really like that split. It's really working for me now. I don't spend too long in the gym. I don't overcommit to one muscle group or anything. I just get that nice, good pump, that good stretch. And today, for example, my chest does feel pretty sore, but I know I'll rest. I trained yesterday. I know I have rest today. And I know I'm hitting legs on Monday. So what's that, 48 hours? No, it's like 72 hours or so. There's enough time for it to rest. So upper, lower, pretty good split, pretty good. Hitting slightly less volume with more intensity, lower sets with each training session, but more frequently throughout the week. That's basically my approach, and so far, so good. By the way, if you're more jacked than me and I'm out here giving you gym advice, don't consider it, bro. If you're jacked, that's the be all end all, bro. You made it in life. Just take that as you will. If you eat 5 eggs a day but you got a 6-pack, you got it. I should be asking you for advice pretty much. Anyway, I've been so routine, cutting out normies. I want to bring people back into my life essentially. I've been having a bit more fun. not more fun, but just people maxing. Like for example, yesterday I watched the Champions League final with some buddies as well in my dorm room, some flatmates. Just a bit in and out. The second half, the penalties a bit, because I still had work to do and a test to study for. But I think that's definitely a important step or part of health. I think health is very holistic. It's not just all metabolism and nutrition. It's not just all exercise. It's not just all mental. It's not just all. I feel like there's a light component to it. How is light striking our eyes? That affects so much. How is cranial collapse in the posture of our tongue, and like what's it called, myofascial therapy, and all these other things, and posture, and fascia and function, and all. There's so much. So I think health is very holistic, and just people being there is one of those parts, one of those facets to this multifaceted concoction. Then lowering stimulation is it's insanely essential, of paramount importance. It is. Let me stress that enough. Lowering our benchmark stimulation for focus is king. It's key because especially with access to so many video games, to adult content, to reels, to YouTube, to music, to anything you want. If you if I have a graph here and our benchmark stimulation is here, we need this much dopamine each day to have a good life. But then you have to go and do any task that is below that, it's going to feel boring. So gradually, I'm trying to lower my how much dopamine I need. So that would be cutting out video games, cutting out social media. And one of the main things I want to give a lot of credit to is my diet and food. We get so much stimulation from our food, from all these spices and cajun pepper and jalapeno and Pringles and colorful sweeties and all these things. And it's amazing and it's delicious, but it's very high stimulation. So just by eating the same boring, blandish meals every day, I've significantly lowered my stimulation. And that's helped me to focus more, work feels better, I can concentrate for longer, I can sit in the library for the whole day for 7 hours at one time, and not it's not like I just have clear, limitless focus, but it's pretty good. It's decent. It's better than what it was. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's effort through cutting out games, through lack of social media, but largely through nutrition and through food and through boring food. That is one thing. However, is music. Music for me can't go, at least for now. I've tried cutting out music and replacing it with more audiobooks, and I like podcasts. I listen to loads of podcasts on nutrition and stuff. But shout out Dr. Garrett Smith, love your liver. But yeah, oh, sorry. Are you busy with something? I am a bit. Yeah, no worries. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. Back to what I was saying. I've tried cutting out music, but music doesn't. It's because when I go to the gym, it's like the only stimulation I get. It's literally it's the most fun thing I do. Going to the gym and hitting heavy weights and listening to Drake and some rap. That's the most stimulating thing I do in my day because I don't do video games. I don't do all this other stuff, and I don't do smoothies, and I don't do Slurpees and sweet juices and whatever. The sweetest thing I eat is probably a banana or an apple, right? So when I go and eat candy, it's literally like crack. When I go and play a video game, it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? When I go and do some crazy fun, it's because my stimulation is a lot lower. So now when I do some crazy stuff, it's a lot more fun. All right. When I go and eat some sweet stuff, it's a lot sweeter. But now with the music, it's like such a drastic drop. I'm operating here, and then now it's like, okay, let's remove all the stimulation which I get from music. And it's like now my body's rebelling. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're telling me we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do that, and now we plus can't do that? Come on. So the for now the music is staying. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. It's like the only stimulation I'm getting for the most part. If I'm not rotting on my phone at 11 o'clock at night because I feel homesick or something. Then about 2 weeks ago, I got really, really sick. I cut out nickel from my diet, essentially oats and beans, and I was eating a lot of them. And I started detoxing nickel, and I got incredibly sick. I felt like I wanted to tap out. But now I don't have any more phlegm. I have no more snot. I feel really good. My workouts are fire again. I feel good. I feel good. I'm not sick anymore. I got better in the span of 3 or 4 days, and now it's just been up, up, up. No more making a bit of noise, are ya? No more phlegm, no more snot. That's amazing. And that's one of my thoughts on sickness and getting sick and the flu and whatever. Is I don't know if we always necessarily have to jump to medicine right away. Because how I view it is our body has these detox symptoms: snot, phlegm, sneezing, whatever. I view that as a sign, as our body giving us a signal. It's saying, yo, we have this weird rubbish inside of us. We need to get it out. So that's why I'm sneezing. That's why I have this weird diarrhea. That's why I'm spitting out this weird thing that was inside of me. And then we say, oh, I'm so sick. So then we go and we take medicine and we suppress all these detox symptoms. So everything that bad that was coming out, we stop it. And we say, whoa, we won, we got better, we got healthy, because I'm not spitting out this weird ball of lava or whatever out of my mouth. But that all the bad stuff, that ball of lava is now just staying in you somewhere, hidden away, and we don't know where it is. So I don't know if medicine is the be all end all. I don't know if sickness is exactly what we think it is, but I don't know much. So do with that as you will. I'm still learning, okay? Then my skin looks a lot more hydrated. It's a lot shinier, looks a bit more moisturized. I'm pleased with where my skin is at the moment. I do get a bit of redness. I've always had red cheeks, and that's been a problem, an issue, something I'm dealing with. I think it's keratosis pilaris rubra or it's eczema, or it is rosacea. And everyone just says online, oh, it's harmless, so we don't really have a cure for it, but you can eat this and that, and you can put this cream on your body. That doesn't work, sorry, we don't really know. So I've been trying these different things, been low nickel diet, haven't been eating as much vitamin A because it's actually, I think it's a lot more likely to accumulate. I think you're a lot more likely to get it in excess and accumulate toxicity than you are to have a deficiency of vitamin A, this fat soluble vitamin. So I've been avoiding or not eating as much of vitamin A, for example. I've been avoiding other inflammatory foods and heavy metal foods, especially nickel, and my skin's improved. It looks a lot shinier this time, so it looks a bit more hydrated, moisturized. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. That's a step in the right direction, I've noticed. Then napping. Napping. This afternoon, I was feeling very tired. I was studying a bit, came home from church, cooked, ate, had a big meal, and then I felt really tired. So what did I do? I took a nap, 15 minutes, recharged. It's literally a recharge. I put my earplugs in, put my noise-canceling headphones on, put my eye mask on, silk, and then I sleep for 15 minutes, and I wake up like a zombie, oof, or like a vampire, oof, like a mummy out of my coffin, oof. Put on my pharaoh crown, and then I get back at it. I feel like a fully charged iPhone 69. You know what I'm saying? So napping is definitely pretty powerful. Use that to your advantage. And I don't nap for 2 hours in the middle of the day and then you mess up your sleep at night. Just nap for 15 minutes, recharge a bit, get up and go. It really works. I feel pretty energetic. I'm going to cook and meal prep after this. I'm going to study for my test again tomorrow. I got the energy. That's from the nap. So use that. And then getting creative with the foods you have. Look, I can eat whatever I want, but I choose to only eat a few foods which are low nickel and pretty low stimulation that work for me. That is ground beef. That is chicken breast. I guess now I'm doing a bit of venison, lean wild animals, I guess. Cucumber, lettuce, apples, bananas, sourdough, which is flour, and pasta, which is also just refined flour. That's it. I drink water. That's it. And then what I've been doing is, yesterday I made this lovely shredded chicken in the pressure cooker, pulled chicken breast. And I took cucumber peel. Then I made these cucumber noodles almost, or put spaghetti strips. I just peeled the cucumber, like the flesh you eat. I peeled that as well, and I got these strips, and it was amazing. And it was fun to eat. It was cool. It was new, and it's all just about improving creativity, just getting more creative with the little foods you have. Even if you're on a cut, and I can only eat 500 calories, get creative with the stuff that you have. Food for thought. Try that recipe out. Sourdough toast, pulled chicken, cucumber noodles. That was power. Then another section I have here is I call it les passions. It's just things that are on my mind, things that I think you should go do your own research on as well, but just things where this is what direction and things I'm looking into, new things which I'm just thinking about. Food for thought, essentially. Niacin, flush niacin, nicotinic acid. On the supplement bottles, it's a water soluble vitamin. On the supplement bottles, they say it's for mental cognition, for brain power, for focus or whatever. But I've been using it for skin. I think it's very powerful. Basically, what it does is uh, it like creates NAD and NAD plus and NADH, which they're electron carriers in the body for all these different reactions in the body. And so when I take it and I flush, almost like when you have a sunburn and all the blood in your body goes to the skin which is burnt for it to heal. When you take niacin, you kind of get all the blood, it flows to areas. So I get these bumps on my tricep, keratosis, pilaris, chicken skin, whatever, and it goes there. So it's like the blood is almost going to the areas that need help, that need healing. And also when I take it, I do feel slightly more alert. In the mornings, I take just one little pill, 25 milligrams, I believe, and I don't flush with that. But it almost wakes me up. It almost makes me feel warmer. My blood starts pumping. It almost feels like circulation's good. I can think clearer. So that's what's on my mind. Then MSG as well. If we look at the singular components of monosodium glutamate, one sodium to glutamate. Sodium on itself isn't bad, unless you think it is, then you're right, probably. But then the glutamate is the most abundant neurotransmitter in the brain. We need it. The more glutamate we have, the more access we have to it, the better we focus, the better we function, the better the brain and the signals can fire. So definitely that's what I'm looking into, and I think you can do your own research into that as well. It's very prominent and strong in Asian cultures and Chinese restaurants. It tastes amazing. I don't know how bad it is for you. Is it bad? I don't know. If I had to pick good or bad right now, I think I'd say good. And then I've also been metal maxing. Metal, by metal, I don't mean consuming metals. I mean the right metals. So the good metals would be magnesium, potassium, sodium, zinc, and selenium. I take about 33 milligrams of zinc every day, about 100 to 150 micrograms of selenium each day. And these are just essential for, well, I take it largely for good skin. And then magnesium and potassium and sodium. These are electrolytes which you need. Magnesium, I make my own magnesium oil. So I take magnesium chloride flakes, mix it in water, rub it on my belly every night when I shower. Potassium, it's crucial for the sodium potassium ATPase pump. That's like cell membranes in your body. Do you have cells? They have the walls of the cell. There's certain like electrical voltage of them, and they need that. So when there's a signal, they can just poof, fire off, and you can do stuff, right? So when you have a stimulus like, oh, work, that's the stimulus. Your body can just, there's just signals firing off, boom, boom, boom. So you need the sodium and you need the potassium. And magnesium is king because he allows for all of that stuff. He allows for the absorption of the potassium, for the sodium, for the zinc, for all these good guys. And then I've been considering calcium and iron. I don't know. I think, yeah, they're definitely essential, but I don't think we need them in that high amounts. We definitely don't need to be supplementing iron or calcium, I believe, because I feel like calcium is most essential during, it's in milk, right? I don't think we should be drinking that crazy amount of milk. I think we need milk when we're growing children. That's my opinion. Maybe it'll change. And then the iron, I feel like if we cook on cast iron skillets all the time, I think that iron can leach into our food. The food, acidic food in particular, absorbs the iron the same way acidic food can absorb nickel in our stainless steel cookware. And then we can get incredibly high iron levels, which can cause a whole multitude of problems. The same way low iron can cause a multitude of problems. But a lot of these iron pathways, or lack of calcium, or lack of iron, or lack of zinc, they can get, these channels can get blocked by bad metals. Wow, they're making a lot of noise. Okay, they can get blocked by these bad metals. Bad metals like arsenic, aluminium, nickel, copper, fluoride, mercury, lead. It's because all these metals are bivalent. They have a charge of +2. So when we take these metals in our body, they our body doesn't really know the difference between lead or arsenic or good guy like calcium, right? It's all just +2. So we have these proteins, and in order for the protein to function, a metal has to come to him and it says, yo, let's go do this and that. Oh, yeah. Zinc comes, let's go get clear skin. Facts. So we have this protein, but he just reads +2, +2, +2. But then zinc, or let's say copper comes +2, or let's say fluoride comes +2, or nickel comes +2, and he says, yo, let's go do something else. He takes this protein, which could have done that, but he says, nah, let's go do that. So this job, the clear skin job, which needs doing, doesn't get done. Does that make sense? So I think we have low levels of zinc, of potassium, of sodium, of iron, of selenium, firstly because we're not maybe getting enough of them in diet and supplementation, but also because we're taking in too many of these bad metals which are blocking and connecting instead of the good guys connecting. And magnesium is king because he tells these guys to go away. The bad guy, he says, yo, guys, get out of here, skedaddle. And then the good guys can come in and connect. So that's just what I've been thinking about. Also, being in med school now, a thought that's been on my mind a lot is that I ain't, I'll do my best, okay? But these other kids, these other students, these other doctors, I don't know if you guys necessarily want your life to depend on them. I don't know. Basically, I think health is your responsibility. I'm doing my research. I'm saying what I think is, correct. I'm learning. I'm messing up. I'm changing my mind, like week in and week out. But I think you should be doing the same thing. I think you should do your own research. I think you need to take responsibility of your own health. And because basically, look, I have a test tomorrow. There's a textbook with the answer. If you have this problem, you take this medicine. If I say any other option in the test, I'm wrong because that is the answer in the textbook. So when you come to me tomorrow and you say, yo, I have this problem from the test, I'm going to say, okay, thanks. I'm going to give you the right answer from the test. I give you the medicine, but it doesn't work. Now what? Oh yeah, when step one doesn't work, okay, step two, what's the other medicine? Boom, doesn't work. Okay, I don't know, redirect you to a profession, not a professional, to a specialist. Oh, third medicine, that doesn't, okay, I don't know. GG, you're cooked. So definitely you need to have your own, what's the word, responsibility. It's your job to focus on your own health, to take initiative, to take responsibility, to get movement, to eat clean, to do research, essentially. That sounds very not promising for the future, but come on, come on, like no one, or at least then get good doctors who you agree with, who you align with, and who speak some sense. If you believe in UFOs and then the doctor also believes in UFOs and you guys are like, yeah, facts, these UFO EMF signals from the aliens is what's giving you migraines. Facts, then you guys can solve that problem together, right? But if you're both pro-vax, then yeah, it probably makes sense that you guys should go and get vax. But if you're too, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I went on a side tangent there, but get doctors which speak sense to you, essentially. Otherwise just do your homework yourself, low key. Oh, this is a nice one. Okay, so firstly, fat loss, I believe, is trickier than just calories in, calories out, because we have these fat soluble vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K, DAKE, if you will. And they are stored in adipose tissue, in fat cells. And so if we can accumulate them very, very easily and very quickly, effortlessly into toxic levels. You get so much that now you have toxic levels of vitamin A, which is far more detrimental than being in a vitamin A deficiency. That's far less common. Toxicity is far more common than deficiency of fat soluble vitamins. Now, how are you going to lose fat if you have this toxin stored in you, or this vitamin at toxic levels stored in you? You need to get rid of the toxin in the fat before you can lose the fat. That's my theory. I'm still learning. I'll still get better at proving that, but food for thought. Then simply, there's this lovely Kevin Hart clip. I remember I think he was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how he's at some event, and then he sees Jeff Bezos or some rich dude, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go over there and ask him how you make that money, bro." And his friend is like, "Yo, nah, chillax, bro. Like, we don't do that here." And he's like, "No, bro. Like, I don't. I want the answer. He has the answer. I don't know. I'm gonna go ask him. You know." That is the approach we need, bruh. I was in the gym yesterday, buff guy, jack dude, doing lat pull down with a V bar. I'm like, "Yo, why you do it like that and not like that, bro?" And so I went there and I asked him, and he explained, and I said, "Okay, but here's my problem. I don't feel this and that." And he's like, "Okay, sit down and I'll help you." And then he did it with me, helped me, corrected my form, said, "Okay, go heavier, feel that." I just shortcutted my way to progress. I got all his XP in a matter of like 5 to 10 minute long interaction, something which would have maybe costed me a couple hours of research on YouTube, or years of failure, or maybe an injury or something like that, just because I had the humility to go and ask, or the vulnerability to show that, hey, I don't know the answer. How you do that, bro? How you get big like that? So consider that. That's definitely a thought that should be on your plate. Then, oh, this one's a bit more deep and philosophical, but essentially, I don't know how to put the words right, but what I was thinking of is the person who you are, who you truly are, is defined by the actions you make in between the tasks of the person who you're supposed to be. So I'm supposed to be a student, right? I'm supposed to be a good boy and just study here between that class and that class. But these little pockets of time, that 10-minute between lecture, that 15-minute break, that 30-minute whatever yap session with the professor, that defines who you are. And that's who you want to be. You know, I was waiting for the library to open 5 minutes early. So I went to the bathroom and jumped rope for 5 minutes and got 500 skips in. I could have easily just sat there and waited. Convenient. But I chose to, it's like those few minutes, that's what you need to fight for. You have a 30-minute break, nap for 15, eat good food. That's what you have to fight for. I heard this guy, he was telling me, "Yo, Luke, I'm just going to come by and bother you by your dorm window because I have 10 minutes to kill before my meeting." I hated that, not because he's annoying, but because 10 minutes to kill before my meeting. You know how mad that made me? Fight for that time. I have 30 minutes to study before I need to leave for church this morning. Fight for that time. Those are the moments that define you. Fight for those steps in. Fight for that meal prep on the weekend. Fight for, you know what I'm saying? Fight for the magnesium oil in your belly. Fight for those little pockets of time, because that's all you really have. If you have a 9 to 5 job, fight for the 5 to 9 before. Fight for the 5 to 9 after. That's all you really have to live, really. That's who you truly are. And then also, what you do not track, record, and measure, you cannot expect to improve. If you don't know how many calories you had last week, if you don't know how many grams of protein you had, if you don't know how many grams of fiber, if you don't know how much fiber you had, how can you expect to prove better? If you don't know how many calories you had, how can you expect to lose weight? If you don't know how much protein you had, how can you expect to gain muscle? If you don't know what time you were waking up and what time you're going to bed, how can you expect to improve your sleep? If you don't record what supplements you've been taking and how much, how do you know which one's affecting this and that? On my wall, I have a whiteboard. This is in my room, but I have a whiteboard like that. And it says the date, and then what muscle group I trained, how many calories I had, how many grams of protein I had, what supplements I take, my weight, and then there's just a lot of space there, and it says, how do you feel? And I write down how I feel, and I record how I feel every day, and I keep track of not only the habits, but also I have a habit tracker next to that. But then I have just saying how I felt. Okay, I felt really tired. I want breakfast. I felt hungry. I need stability in my energy. Breakfast. Constipated. Okay, fiber. I took too much potassium. I think I'm still a rookie. I need to build up my tolerance to all this supplemental potassium. Okay, build up. Take it slow. So whatever you don't record and track and measure, you really can't improve. And moving forward, I'm going to eat more carbs this week. Basically, just another 500 grams of pasta. I want more carbs because I'm training a bit more, a bit harder. I'm doing no beef this week, just venison and chicken breast, really lean, low fat. And I want to see how I feel on that lower fat, slightly more carbs. And hopefully the carbs from the pasta and from the bread can go into my muscles and fuel my workouts. That's been the video. I haven't got the mouth guard from Revive yet. I don't know what's holding me back. Maybe the price, maybe the shipping, maybe it's from international, so I don't know how it's going to come here, but I will get it. I'll order it this week, and maybe that I'll sleep with that and see how that. I'll do the stretches and see how all that plans out. And that's been my week. Moving forward, I'm on a meal prep now. I have a test tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, actually. I'm turning 19 years old. I'm a guppy. I really am a guppy. But it's a big pond to grow in, at least. Test tomorrow. We're going to do well. It's on osteology, a bunch of bones, basically, genetics, metabolism. I really like metabolism. There's also a bit more ethical doctor healthcare system stuff, but that's cool and all. But the real medicine stuff is genetics, metabolism, and bones. So hopefully that goes well. And not much more to it. The video doesn't have to go on for any longer. That's been episode 2. I've been Luca. Hopefully you learned something from this. If not, that's cool. Check out the Twitter. I'll link it in the description. It's just every day I have updates on what I'm doing, new things I'm trying out. So it's like these videos, but bite-sized pieces throughout the week, live, in live action. So take care and good luck with your life.